What's up guys, it's Drac, and this is the Nerf ZombieStrike Contractor. It comes to us in its MSRP packaging, but not in a specific shipping box because of A, how weird it is to get your hands on this one, to the degree that some people watching are going to be like, what are you talking about? I just picked it up at my local Myers. And everyone else is like, yo, how did you get your hands on that? And this one's actually a holiday present from my good friend Brian Hoffer, aka the lead article writer for Blaster Hub. Just a really good friend of mine. I asked him to send me one of these because he's in the region where these are distributing. Meyer only ships to 4 states. They're all out in the Midwest. And he was kind enough to pick one up for me. This is an exchange we've done before for regional exclusives or availabilities. But when I went to pay him back, he said that holiday gifts don't have price tags. And I love you too, buddy. Thank you so much. So this is actually my Christmas present from Hoffer. And we need to bust it out and review it for you guys because there was no other way for me to get my hands on this one. Just as a fun aside, I can't figure out for the life of me why Meyer of all retailers has not an exclusive colorway, but an exclusive blaster out on shelves that nobody else can get a hold on. Like, why would they landlock the 4 states a ZombieStrike release that appears to be one of their better releases of 2020 in a world where they're sending straight garbage to mainstream retailers, and it just doesn't make any sense professionally. However, this is a Meyer exclusive. You can buy it online, but Meyer will only ship to 4 states. Alright guys, so the Contractor is a $30 entry into the category. Just because it was a gift for me doesn't mean that we're not evaluating it in terms of its actual value. It did cost 30 United States dollars. It is the second PowerShock ZombieStrike blaster, which is honestly some of the coolest stuff ZombieStrike is doing right now. It's definitely some of their most interesting work. It has an element of play that other blasters don't in the Hasbro lineup, and really reminds me of like 90s Nerf guns in that it has lights and sounds and it does something pretty radically cool. There's a Try Me feature right here where if you pull this, you get doot, 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 and this lights up. Hopefully it does more than that. I didn't notice anything going on with the Nerf logo, so I'm hopeful that we rip some tab out and it goes into full operation mode. Over here it says it comes with 8 elite darts. These are some of the worst darts. ZombieStrike darts are just green elite darts. You can very easily replace that with better darts from somewhere like Adventure Force or Dart Zone or what have you. Even ordering them off Amazon would be cheaper and more accurate. But we've got one top rail up here. I do want to focus on the art really quick just because I love the art on the ZombieStrike boxes. It's one of the few places over at the mothership that they still seem to be taking actual care and diligence in maintaining consistency. So our heroes are becoming more and more creative. They're chop-shopping these blasters together. I like that this kid's wearing a timepiece. I think that that's cool. I like the headband to keep his lustrous locks out of his face. That's a big staple of Nerfery. Then the zombies are getting more and more involved. If you look on the back here, same guy. His teammates are over here, and then this guy down here. They're in their kind of backyard shed base. You can see that they've scribbled Nerf over here for some reason. They've got storage sheds. They're clap-trapping together all of the different ZombieStrike blasters that have come out recently. Of note, this isn't a ZombieStrike silhouette down here. This just appears to be a nail gun, which is just kind of funny. They could have very easily made this the nail biter, but I guess the art direction wasn't there. Something interesting that's developed over the years is they're all wearing eye protection, which is, I think, interesting as Hasbro shifts more towards using PvP blaster play in some of their advertisements. They've also made sure to make all of their characters that they create wear eye protection. I can't remember right now if Doomlander wore eye prot or not. The zombies, on the other hand, don't need eye protection as they barely have eyes, but they're getting creepier, they're getting kookier. They have all of their makeshift armor. They're replacing limbs with the same sort of like found construction art direction. This guy has hedge clippers. They're also, in doing that, becoming kind of scary. The one thing that you've got to look for on every Nerf ZombieStrike blaster is usually the kids in their base have like pizza. They're crushing some za. And interestingly enough, this is the first box I've seen where they don't have a box of pizza, but at the last second I realized over here, well, this is a brick wall. In the very corner here, it looks like there's a pizza truck. And just for the record, the way that the pizza truck is line art in the corner here tells me something important, which is that it was almost an afterthought, like they remembered in their final art meeting. They were like, wait, we didn't put the pizza in. And then the artist was like, no problem. And 30 seconds later, they scribbled pizza onto the truck. So somebody should probably give that artist a raise over in Pawtucket. explicitly, they should also give him some additional job duties like measuring the level of lead in Super Soaker stickers and determining where the paint goes on blasters. But with that, I think that I'm hitting my requisite amount of sodium for a Nerf brand blaster review in 2020. Let's talk about the facts. I actually think that this one has some potential. Power shock means glowing lights and effects. Blaster sounds means extra elements of play. 8-dart drum means that this is in fact a revolver. It's a revolver. I believe it's going to be a pump action revolver. With all of that out of the way, all we have to do is get it out of the box. So out of its package, you can see the Contractor has been fully loaded up. This noise, the doot doot doot, is actually its way of saying I'm not primed, dummy, and I'm not going to fire a dart. It does some other cool lights and sounds things. We'll just run it through one quick feature here. When you prime, it goes. It's pretty sci-fi fantastic. This panel lights up to indicate, I guess, that it's charged. And then when you fire after having primed back and forth, it goes pew, and the Nerf logo lights up and fades out. That's actually like really, really cool. I like that the lights and the sounds kind of imitate what you're playing with. And then of course, if I rotate it back through, even if you don't fire a dart, if you run out of darts, which you'll run out of very quickly with green darts outside that don't fly straight, you can continue to use that element of play just to blast pretend zombies. Of course, we're judging it on its merits as a blaster and a toy and a value proposition. So, funky things about the ergo, you do have to hold it back here like this. I'm tempted to put my thumb back like this and treat it like a anti-aircraft something or other, but that's neither here nor there. This is a handguard. The handguard doesn't feel right. It feels like this should be where you grip. This should be an ultra small stock because that's Hasbro's MO, but we're not getting any of that. As far as the elements go, you've got some cool stuff. You've got kill counter tick marks on this side, and this side you have this venting. It would be really, really nice if they hadn't cheaped out on the other side, because the other side just doesn't look as good. With no venting here and no window for the Nerf logo and no paint, this side looks very drab. So we'll focus on this side where you've got the electroshock logo letting you know that it's battery powered. You've got the windows for all of those lights and sounds. I mean, this looks good. The light up Nerf logo is such an awesome feature that I wish would be implemented on more of these out of the package blasters, because it lets us do some really cool stuff. It lets Hasbro do some really cool stuff, and it looks really, really cool. The ZombieStrike logo as kind of like a water slide decal on the back also looks really great. Over here, it looks pretty bleh. One thing that I want to point out is I have spent the entirety of the last couple of years really dogging Hasbro for shaving 10 cents off of a blaster by only painting one side, and how that just makes the overall quality of the product seem a lot lower. There is, however, no excuse for the fact that they molded their Pump Grips Nerf logo upside down. That's not just this side, that's both sides. Both sides upside down Nerf logo. Is there a CAD version of spell check? Did you turn it off? Other staples of the ZombieStrike brand ring true in this model. You've still got the funky cloth wrap, which in this case I think might be part of the speaker cover. With these holes here, I'm not 100% sure on where the speaker is in this guy. It's probably behind this window. The lights and sounds are legitimately cool, and it's actually nice and a pleasant change of pace that Hasbro includes the batteries with the blaster. Replacing them would be a breeze. It's this panel back here, and it only takes 3 AAAs, which is far less expensive than some of the other electronic offerings. Of course, this is a pneumatic style blaster. We've got some just interesting things going on here. This is like stitching, but it's like stitching on a saw blade. It's just very confusing. I'm assuming these kids in their backyard shed aren't TIG welding. So I just don't get it. You've got the wrapped around kind of zip ties that are molded in. Overall, it looks pretty good in terms of its overall just like aesthetic and trueness to the current ZombieStrike direction. I think that it's a really good looking blaster. It's just ergonomically a little funky. If you happen to be on the smaller side, this isn't going to be as much of a problem for you. Just keep in mind that you're not really shouldering it at any point. Plenty of barrel, way more than this blaster explicitly needed, but it's a really aggressive, pretty good looking barrel, so we're going to go ahead and give that a pass. This of note does have the kind of cheap 2020 rail attachment points, but it does both have the rail attachment point, and at least it has a rail and an attachment point. So it's a little behind the curve in terms of the cost saving measures over there. So overall, I give this one a pass at $30. There's one thing that we have to determine though, is in addition to the cool, I actually really like the laser pew noise, which is probably why I'm so forgiving of the other things. The real question is, it's got 8 shots. It doesn't necessarily need slam fire, but did they give it to us? Yes, they did. Very nice. Very nice to see some of those features in the ZombieStrike blasters, even though I don't think it was explicitly stated on the box. It's pretty cool that that means that, and I wonder if the electronics will keep up. Yeah, I could wear these batteries out very quickly. So that's pretty cool. That is a genuine smile from a Hasbro blaster this year. And I do like that it has slam fire because it lets you get all of your pew pew goodness in. Very, very cool. Let's take it outside. Let's put it over the chronograph. Let's see if it's delivering at least elite standard performance. Hopefully that's not an indicator of things to come. All right, guys, so we brought our Contractor outside. Go ahead and fire this up. I went ahead and loaded it up with the AccuStrike darts. I loaded it up with AccuStrike darts for a few different reasons, but I also brought a couple of extra ones out here. Mostly the ZombieStrike Elite darts are just really bad. So I'd rather hit the thing that I'm aiming at more often, and I wanted to get an FPS reading with that. 70's not bad. Let's see what we get next. Duplicate 70. Contractor is off to a very consistent start. 72, 70, 67. All right, so, I mean, let's finish it up. 69, 73, 63. So by and large, I think that it's safe to assume that this is getting elite standard performance, which is good. That's what we've come to expect from all Hasbro brand blasters in this space. Go ahead and load it up with a few other darts. Get a quick range test going on. You're buying this blaster mostly for the lights and sounds effects, but it's nice that it'll keep up with like old school Elite blasters and what have you. That critical 70 FPS threshold seems to be right where we're at. Flat shots, hit the fence and stop. So let's get a couple of angled ones in, which is how they would make their range claims anyway. And our angled shots are about 45, 50 feet. So it's not a performance powerhouse by any stretch of the imagination, but imagination included, this is a lot of fun. It's got great play elements independent of its blasting ability, so we can give it a pass on the very average, very rote blasting ability, because it's a funky looking blaster that's not exorbitantly expensive, that looks good from the label to camera side, comes with batteries, has lights and sounds, and I really, maybe more so than other reviewers, I don't know how the other reviewers have ranked that in terms of like their desirability and features, but I think that lights and sounds from the factory are a really, really cool thing and well worth kind of bumping this from like wait for it to be on sale to, if you really like the direction ZombieStrike's going, this one's a pretty fair pickup at 30 United States dollars. You just don't go into it with any illusions of performance. This would be a very difficult to wield HVZ blaster, unless, of course, you're Brian Hoffer. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Much love. Blast on. Drac out.